இங்கே இருக்கிறதுக்கு. My name is Rajkumar. I am the founding Vice Chancellor of O.P. Jindal Global University, and we are wanting to be here in Chennai to celebrate the partnership that our university has established with Seattle University, and we will shortly hear from the president of Seattle University, Professor Eduardo Penalvar, but also for what Seattle University is planning to do in India and especially in Chennai. He will be talking to you about the two MoUs that Seattle University has signed with higher education institutions here in the city of Chennai. Now let me tell you that why being in Chennai was important for us, because firstly I think it is only fair to say that the state of Tamil Nadu is been at the forefront of promoting higher education and providing leadership in the world of higher education. Those of you who may not be familiar with, as you know, if you look at the national gross enrollment ratio for India, that's approximately 25 to 27% as far as higher education is concerned. But the Tamil Nadu's gross enrollment ratio is over 52%. So Tamil Nadu is actually the country's leader as far as higher education is concerned. Second, Tamil Nadu also leads in medical education, at the forefront of it, in engineering and science and technology education, as well as in humanities and social sciences education. In all three major aspects of higher education, the state of Tamil Nadu has been at the forefront. So it was quite obvious that when Seattle University was planning to visit India and to build partnerships with the leading universities in India, it was quite appropriate that they had to visit Tamil Nadu and indeed the city of Chennai. The third reason we are here is that the national education policy, which I believe has several aspects that focuses on improving the quality of education, benchmarking Indian institutions with the best institutions around the world, as well as promoting excellence in teaching and research, developing research ecosystem through the National Research Foundation. All these aspects, one of the most critical aspects of the national education policy has been the emphasis on internationalization and global partnerships. Now, today's press conference theme itself is on promoting global partnerships and global education, and this, I believe, is the fulcrum around which international education is going to grow in the years to come. First of all, it's important to mention that India and US have a very strong and a very robust historical evolution when it comes to our shared values, both in democracy and rule of law, but also our shared commitment to emphasizing the role of educational institutions. Second, we both are democracies, but we also believe in the power of education that can be transformative for societies. And the third is that a very strong sense of Indian aspiration to pursue higher education abroad. United States has been an aspiring nation for many bright Indian students to pursue higher education, and very steadily this number has increased, and you may be aware that this year in particular, this entry of Indian students to United States has increased over 30% before the previous years. There is a huge interest among Indian students to pursue higher education in the United States. We believe that Seattle University, which is one of our partner universities, is well placed to attract some of the finest minds, both in terms of humanities and social sciences, but also in law and business and other and STEM areas, which I'm sure President Penalvar will highlight. I also want to mention that as we look at the world in a post-pandemic world, I believe global education and international partnerships will play an even more significant role for Indian higher education institutions. Indian students are increasingly aspiring to study abroad. The UGC, including our regulatory architecture, is changing and recognizing the need for including dual degrees, short-term study abroad programs, joint degrees, twinning programs, exchange programs, things that we were reluctant to do even a decade ago. The national education policy has provided an enabling environment for such opportunities to be available for Indian students. Equally important to mention is that it is not a one-way traffic. More and more international students are wanting to come to India for a number of reasons. And I must mention that the pandemic has also created new challenges for many countries. The entry of Chinese students into the United States and many parts of the world has become restricted. India continues to be a vibrant democracy and continue to attract very many people from around the world. We need to provide an imagination for Indian universities so that international students, including students from the United States and with leading universities such as the Seattle University, are able to come to India and do many things, both in terms of research, when it comes to faculty, student experiences, when it comes to learning opportunities for the students. I also think that this partnership that we talked about is not only about students interacting with each other and studying in each other's campuses, but also faculty coming together in pursuing research in the form of joint publications, joint conferences, joint workshops, so that the knowledge that gets created is actually part of an effort to build global community consciousness on some of the major issues that are affecting the humankind. That means universities need to be able to work towards building those partnerships and collaborations, some of which has been done through that effort. The partnership between OP Jindal Global University and Seattle University is indeed a reflection of that vision to build global partnerships in towards promoting global education. I want to now take this moment to invite Professor Eduardo Penalver, a distinguished president of the Seattle University. President Penalver did his undergraduate studies from Cornell University, which is an Ivy League institution. He later did his law degree from the Yale Law School in the United States, and then he was a Rhodes Scholar at the University of Oxford, where he did his master's degree. He has held faculty appointments at the University of Chicago. He has also taught at Harvard, and then for many years as a professor and then later dean at Cornell University, and now he has been the president of Seattle University in the state of Seattle, in Seattle, in the state of Washington. Without further ado, I am going to request President Eduardo Penalver to introduce the theme of today's press conference, and then we'll follow it up with a Q&A session. Over to you, President Penalver.
Vice Chancellor Kumar, it's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. I thought I would do just a couple of things. I'll say a few words about the city of Seattle, about Seattle University, and then briefly why India-US higher education collaboration is so important. I'll try not to be too repetitive of the Vice Chancellor. Seattle is a city in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. It's the largest city west of Minneapolis, north of San Francisco. About the 15th largest city, so to put that in context, about the same size as Detroit, and rapidly growing. The population in Seattle has doubled roughly over the past couple of decades. So a very fast-growing, vibrant community, and the home of many companies that I'm sure you've heard of. It was the birthplace of the Boeing Corporation. It's also the home of Microsoft and Amazon and Starbucks and many other iconic American companies that are really at the forefront of technological innovation in the United States. And so we think of Seattle as a hub of both global trade and innovation. And Seattle University is the largest independent university in the Pacific Northwest in the Seattle region. 7,000 students. We're a Jesuit university. 6 colleges. We have a College of Nursing, a College of Education, of Science and Engineering, Arts and Sciences, Law, and Business. And because of the strong culture of innovation and the companies that have been founded in the Seattle area, we are really focused as we look to the future on growing in the areas of STEM and health science. Our fastest growing programs are in computer science and data science. The Seattle community, as it's grown, and especially as these technology companies have grown, has attracted a really significant Indian American community. Indian and Indian American community is now one of the largest centers for the Indian community in the United States, and a place where increasingly we're seeing students coming to Seattle University because they're familiar with the reputation of the university and of the city for economic innovation and opportunity. We're here in Chennai. We're signing 2 MoUs, a memorandum of understanding. We just returned from Loyola College campus where we signed the first of those, and then we'll also be signing an MoU with VMRF. And the purpose of these is to create the opportunity for future collaboration. It's sort of a framework that will then be the basis for future conversations between the academic units of each of these institutions to build more substantive collaborations along the lines that Vice Chancellor, I'm getting my American academic titles, Vice Chancellor Kumar discussed joint degrees, mutual exchange programs, immersions in both directions, research collaborations, and collaborations around community engagement. I think these kinds of agreements are really important both for Seattle University, but for higher education generally. As a Jesuit university, we're very much interested in training leaders for the future, educating leaders for the future. And to be an effective leader, you need to have a global outlook. You need to have a perspective that allows you to understand the challenges that our students are going to confront in the world as global challenges, right? And I think that's particularly true for Jesuit higher education, which has been international and global from its inception 500 years ago. But I think it's become true for higher education generally. If higher education is not international, if it's not global in its perspective, it's failing to educate its students effectively. And if you interact with students who have had a global education, you immediately notice the difference in terms of how they understand what the world is confronting, right? The challenges that the world is confronting are essentially global in nature. Things like climate change and sustainability, rapid technological transformation, right, which is destabilizing, also creates tremendous opportunity, but is destabilizing democratic institutions, destabilizing social norms, and so to be able to understand and kind of navigate the world that our students are going to confront when they leave our campuses, they need to understand those phenomena, both as a technical matter, they need to understand them also as global phenomena. Many of the things that we find that we're engaging with and understanding or seeing in the United States are issues that you're confronting here in India as well. And so we can learn, our students can learn from your experience, and certainly your students and scholars can learn from our experience. And so we need to build relationships at the institutional level to create relationships at the individual level in order to educate leaders who can effectively grapple with those issues. And as Vice Chancellor Kumar pointed out, I think within that domain of international collaboration that's really essential to higher education, the relationship between American higher education and Indian higher education is particularly important and appropriate because of all the values we share, because of the centers of population in the United States. You know, so many Indian Americans who are very interested in engaging with India, even while they live in the United States. And because of the common commitments we have to democracy, the rule of law, and to pluralism. And so those shared values make collaboration more productive and also make it more appropriate and easier. And then I would just add to that, our common linguistic heritage, the ability to communicate easily is something that we share with India that is not as unique to that international context. The ability to have a press conference like this is something that I think makes it really appropriate as we survey the landscape and engage internationally to focus first and foremost on India, and that's what we're doing. So this is my first international trip as the president of Seattle University, and so grateful to Vice Chancellor Kumar for facilitating the meetings and introductions that we've had here. And it's important. We're very proud of our relationship with Jindal Global University, which was really the first international MOU that we signed after I became president of Seattle University, and we have a rich set of relationships personally and institutionally with Jindal, which is just a leader in higher education here in India. But India is a vast and important country, and there, we need to be engaging in all the regions and with many institutions to give our students a good understanding of the diversity and richness of this country. So excited to be here, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.